Hey, this is Andy for Birthday Cake for Breakfast, and I'm here with Albert Hammond Jr. How's it going, Albert?
Hey man, it's going great. I'm just my nose is a bit blocked up, so I'm getting some Sudafed and some nasal decongestants.
So you're sorting yourself out so you keep away from the cold.
Yeah.
If it's been 5 years since your last solo release, Albert, because obviously you've got this new record out. Is it good to have something back out there again?
Yeah, it's been amazing. I think this time has been the best time for all that. The American shows went fantastic, and now these UK shows are great. Hoping to come back and do a bigger tour and kind of go around everywhere, do 12, 15 shows.
Yeah, sure. I mean, because is it quite a small run of shows at the minute?
Yeah, well, you know what it is? Everything gets booked so far in advance that when I think it was October, and I was like, oh yeah, let's go do some Europe and UK dates. There was like, well, everything's been kind of booked. We even had to, in Glasgow, they had to squeeze us in one in the morning because the guy really wanted to do the show, so they had their normal show that they do, and normally it's just, they don't do a show. And then, but they wanted to have me, so we did a show at 1 a.m., which is actually quite fun.
Oh, that's cool. So, as I say, it's been like 5 years since your last release. What exactly has changed since then?
Wow.
Not to be too much of a deep question.
Hell of a question. I mean, everything changes in 5 years, you would hope anyways, so...
Yeah. I mean, more so, if you want to say, more so about since, the last solo release, because obviously you've had your albums come out with the Strokes since then, but I mean, since the last album, Come Ti Ama, how does this release, how is it different to the other albums?
Well, I mean, everything you record is capturing a moment in time, good or bad, which is what's so fun about it. But what's changed or what's different about it is, I don't know, I feel a little more confident in my abilities, in all my abilities now, and I feel like that comes across in the songs. And I think with a clear head, I was able to be more creative and have more fun with myself, I guess, you can put it that way.
This time around, what's inspired you? I mean, what does inspire you with as you go along?
So many levels of inspiration. Really, the biggest inspiration was just the excitement to I had the riff for Cooker Ship, and I felt like I hadn't had a riff in a long time that I was really excited about. And so that kind of sparked the whole thing. And so, I mean, that in itself was the biggest inspiration for everything. Because when Gus came over and we started recording it, the sounds you hear now are not like sounds that were like you thought about for weeks. Everything kind of just started happening. And
sure.
That was exciting to be like, oh wow! Usually when something's good, things come together. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's a weird unknown law, but usually when you have to, not always, but when you have to push too hard on something, you could end up...
Yeah, forcing it to be something.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. That's cool.
I don't want people, you know what I mean? There's many songs that are awesome that probably were toiled over like crazy. So.
So you split recording for this new EP between two studios in New York. How was the overall experience?
It was great. I mean, the studio was my apartment.
Oh, that's really cool.
And my apartment is what you see in St. Justice, and those pictures of me of like my close-up face and the American flag in the back. That's where the American flag is where the studio is.
You were working with Gus Oberg, the Grammy-winning producer. How was that to work with him?
Well, I mean, I've known him and I've worked with him since Years to Keep. He kind of finished that record with me. The guy was producing it at the time, and then I loved him, and then we did Come Ti Ama together, and I just loved him so much that I wanted to bring him into the Strokes stuff. He did produce and engineered both the last Strokes records. and then this thing. So I don't know. I like working with best friends. Clearly, I'm on Cult and I work with Gus.
So yeah, as we said before, you're currently on tour in the UK, and you played Manchester on Sunday. Am I right in thinking you know the area quite well?
Yeah, I was actually joking about that I spent a Christmas there in like 2008, I think, but in one of the suburbs in Rochdale.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So how is Christmas in Manchester compared to Christmas in New York?
Well, it's with the people you're with, really. It was wonderful. I went and saw Madness.
Oh, really?
I went to Liverpool and did the whole Beatles tour.
Oh, the Cavern, yeah.
It was really, I got to admit, it was really fun.
So, for the rest of the tour, whereabouts are you getting up to?
Well, I'm flying to Milan right now. We're doing 3 shows in Italy and 1 in Madrid. That finishes this before the holidays. And then we're going to doing America again, the same route we did in November, but this time I'm opening for Jake Bugg in some really awesome venues.
What's the reception been to the new EP? How have people been responding to it?
It's been amazing. It's been actually, I feel like I get to play all 5, which is awesome. So I always play the whole EP, and it's been, I feel like besides, you'll never be able to beat memories of old songs. It's like the same thing when I come back with a new EP, these songs will be received with more excitement because they'll know them, but they definitely get, for being new songs, they definitely get the best reception. You can see people like watching and listening and trying to wanting to know it. They seem really excited by it. Really excited.
Oh, that's excellent to hear. Yeah. Just before I'll let you go and blow your nose, what sort of stuff do you do on your downtime as a solo artist, like when you're travelling around, as opposed to obviously when you're in the Strokes?
I wouldn't on my downtime. It's not like there's anything less. It's just, or I would do something different. Still me. It's just, if anything. Strokes, you have more time. We don't soundcheck. We have people who move all our gear, and we have a lot more time and stay in nicer places. So I just have a lot more time to do stuff. Here, days off are travel days, and we're loading in gear and loading out, and in a van, and moving around. So really, the most we can do here is I'll get like a band dinner together, or sometimes we're lucky to go to a museum, or we actually haven't had enough time to see a movie. So we really, it's really just like on the go. That's probably the biggest difference.
Do you find that quite fun then, compared to like when you're with the Strokes and obviously you've got all that free time, or?
I mean, it's not like I don't want to build it so that it becomes like that.
Yeah.
It's not like I want. Of course, it's fun because it's different, but it's only fun if it's different. And then it changes, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's fun to look back at the early days and be like, oh, those were great days because I was successful.
Right, sure.
If I wasn't, I don't think I'd look back and be like, oh, yeah. I mean, it's great. I feel like I'm lucky to have such a great, playing with such great guys. I feel like we've only done like 20 shows together, but we're really tight off stage and on stage. And having fun, and that's the most you can ask for if it's something that you don't really have control over.
That's a good way to put it. Really enjoy the EP, Albert. Thank you very much.
No, thank you, man.